Achievement unlocked. 2 players and a podcast now loading.
Welcome back, Dreamers and Flamily. This is 2 Players and a Podcast, brought to you by GeneralAndrews and
FlibbityFlam. Hello.
And we are sponsored by the 8-Bit Dojo and ESN, where we aim to be selfless, not selfish. This is Episode 3, Season 2, The Return of the Gatekeeper, and its musical friend. All right. So, FlibbityFlam, what's happening, man?
Not much, man. It's been a week, that's for sure.
We've been talking a lot, and you've been mostly like, wow, it's been a little much.
It's been a little much this week. Ugh.
Well, I mean, you feeling good? You're ready to jam on this thing? Or
oh
what?
yeah, I'm ready. This has been something I've been looking forward to ever since we started doing it again.
Yeah, like, I like the format now. This is much more what I envisioned. As much as I liked when we had a audience chat to be a part of it, this is, I feel like we're able to stay within the topic as much as we do deviate a little bit inside the topic, but we stay inside the topic. We don't veer off on some crazy tangent.
Yeah, we're not as distracted by chat and people and stuff like that, because it feels like whenever it's like, oh, we're streaming and there's a chat there, I gotta pay attention to chat.
I agree. Which is, when I do streaming, that's the goal. Even if I'm speedrunning, right?
Yeah.
I want to somehow engage the chat, even if like maybe I'm not directly talking to them. I want to tell the story. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what I'm doing if I'm speedrunning.
Exactly.
With that being said, it sounds like we've got a topic that you've been itching to get off your chest recently.
Yeah, I figured since we did gatekeeping last week, let's just talk about a different type of gatekeeping in with the speedrun community and the speedrun gatekeeping that happens.
Yeah. Yes. No, it is a problem. Not all. The cool thing is it's not everywhere.
It's not everywhere. It's not even most, I would say.
No, I am super happy you pointed that out as well, so everyone who is listening can know it is not most, but there are some.
But there is some, yeah. Which
now have you been a part of any of those communities?
Oh, several. The one that stands out the most was when I was learning Dark Souls like 2 years ago.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
Like, people would literally just come in to give you the wrong information. They have a Discord, but it's extremely unhelpful.
Ooh.
They would come and just taunt you and be like super mean to try to get you to stop running the game because they're so protective over their leaderboard spot. That means absolutely nothing.
Right. No, that kills me. So like, if you think about it, Dark Souls is first off, we already know it's a ridiculously hard game if you're just playing it.
Yeah.
Casual, if you're taking your time and trying to be safe with it, versus you're adding some speedrun strats, which obviously are very risk inducing, but for high speed time saves. That is so unfortunate. Like, now, I don't know how this works because I've never played Dark Souls. I've only watched it, be it your stream or other streams. People can enter your world. Now, can they do that when you're speedrunning, or is that a whole
No, because you play it offline, right?
Oh,
so,
cool. Okay.
So that doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank goodness. I was thinking, like, I would never want to do that. Someone can come in and interrupt the speed run.
Right, and just straight destroy your run halfway through. Okay. It's like, cool. That'd be great. No, you can just play it in offline mode, or you can, like, have, like, for 2, they have it online all the time. Like, they don't have a setting, like, in 1 or 3 where you can turn it off.
Interesting. Okay.
But you can, like, start Steam in offline mode. That'll take it off.
Cool. All right. Oh, that's terrible, though, that you dealt with that. How much do you attribute that factor to you not wanting to continue to run it? Because you don't run it anymore.
No,
if you play Dark Souls, it's for cash.
I played it casually. I played the first 2. I was trying to learn 3 because it seemed like the easiest of them, and I actually did it with Spazzy. But like I said, we just kept our like he would go into the Discord and ask simple questions, and they would just be absolute shitlords to him. And I'm just like,
motivates everyone.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of tutorials out on it or anything like that either, which doesn't help.
The less tutorials there are also shows, the egocentricness of the record holder, especially on something that's very popular.
Yeah.
You would want to put out a tutorial on Dark Souls because it's going to probably get a lot of views.
Exactly.
But when they're not putting it out there, that really is starting to, let you know, how does the community feel about their tech or their setups for their strats or, routing and all those kinds of things where it's like, well, just go watch the video if you want to know. It's like, it's so funny.
Or you take 5 seconds of your time and just tell me what you do.
Yeah, like I personally, from my standpoint, is whenever someone wants to speedrun the game that I'm playing, I want, especially if I say I'm one of the better ones at it versus one of the ones that's still learning, right? I'm like, dude, like this is, hey, you want to know stuff? Like, let's start with the simple things. Let's find some consistency for you. Don't go for the big stuff right now. Go for a couple of these things. They see a little positive there. Now they're motivated. Now when they want to try that big stuff, they're in a mindset of like, hey, you know what? I've been able to do this before. I know there's somebody I could ask if I really feel trapped. Because on speedrunning, let me tell you, you try the same thing 1,000 times and it doesn't work, you're starting to bridge on insanity,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What am I supposed to do? Oh, I'm supposed to look left the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. And
but you run right. So why would you assume to click left real quickly? That's what the sharing of information, right?
Yeah. It's like little things like that when you don't have a controller display up. It adds up because there's so many things that runners do that you just don't see.
Correct. Or I'm going to bring this up, or things runners do that just literally are there to waste time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I was waiting for the Hawkeye mission to click.
Yeah, for years, everybody thought when I played Luigi's Mansion, I would always click the flashlight and it would just flash the flash. And everybody thought that I went faster somehow because I did that.
Yeah.
And then somebody finally asked and was like, why do you click the flashlight? I'm like, I'm bored. I have nothing else to do.
And I remember just like screaming in chat, like, what the? Are you serious? No way. No, come on, dude. Come on. What does it really do?
What does it really do? Don't lie.
Does it buff your vacuuming, your sucking skills?
Buff my sucking.
And it was just such a funny revelation. And like that's why I wanted to bring it up, because there's times you do stuff like that, and there's times where like it's been about a month now. I had done I like to do the bubble helmet in Mega Man 2. So the bubble helmet there's very few times you're going to actually use Bubble Man's skill to go quickly in Mega Man 2 speedruns, and it's fighting Heat Man is a good example of that. And so when you're entering any of the bosses, especially in the Mega Man 2 game, you have the double gates, right? So you touch the gate opens, and it does a quick transition, boom, you're in there. Then when you touch the gate on the other side, now you're going to go into the boss fight room. But when you do that, you actually get to go ahead and fire off a shot if you so choose right beforehand. And so what do? I fire a lead bubble, and it, if you time it just right, the bubble perfectly goes around Mega Man's head like
it looks like a bubble helmet.
Okay, so now that you all have this picture in your brain, the thoughts are percolating of how amazing this retro nostalgia is. I do this, get the first one, bam. I do it again, get the second one, and I just scream, double bubble helmet, yeah! And then the chat's like, oh my god, what did you accomplish by doing that? I just started bursting up laughing because
what did you do? Nothing. Absolutely jack squat.
It literally was for my own fun. Yeah. There was no reason for me to have done that.
There's nothing else I can do inside these doors anyway.
The shout out to ESED's the best Chimera. He was just like that. He's the one who asked the question. He was just straight up shocked, like, wait, oh, That's all.
That's
I wanted more. No,
I needed more.
You didn't tell me that was like a 10-second time saver. And I was like, no, it's just something to do. See if you can time it right. Just killing time.
Yeah.
So was Dark Souls the only one?
No, there have been. It seems like it just depends, and like it's never also like just general-esqueness of gatekeeping. It's never the top runners in that category either.
How interesting. That's a really good point to bring up, because that's, I think, where a lot of people, when they were listening to the first portion of this cast so far, would have thought that.
Yeah, it's never those top guys, because you go in and ask those top guys, like they don't care. They'll tell you everything that they know, because it's like, oh hey, this is interesting. I love that you're trying to do the thing that I do.
Right. Yes, exactly. They have an appreciation for your want for the craft.
Yeah, it's the middle of the run runners who just think of their time as like, oh, I've got a big schlong, let me just slap it on the here's the table.
Bam! Guess what? I got an indent now. Ow! Like, what? Jeez, calm down.
Just broke my oak coffee table.
Oh, jeez, that coffee table is a mess. Clean it up. Clean it up over there.
So,
and that is just, oh god. So now, when you see that, not just in Dark Souls or any other speedrunning community that you've unfortunately had to deal with that in, do you think it's a competitiveness in the platform, or do you think it's a competitiveness in the game itself? So, for example, we stream on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So there's a competitiveness of the platform. Do you think it's platform specific, or is it game category specific?
It could be a little bit of both, right?
Okay. Yeah. That's why I brought it up, because I felt like, maybe some of these people feel like they're fighting you for viewership within that category, and you might be of similar skill sets.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I better shit on this guy. Like, no, I'm the established Dark Souls guy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, because it's like you just look at that and you just kind of laugh, because I'm like, oh, that's really not how that works, man.
No, it's not. When we first started streaming, we like years ago, right? We thought that would be, hey, okay.
Yeah.
So if you are number one on this, that makes a difference, right? Maybe on the most popular speedrun game.
Maybe, maybe if you're like the Super Metroids, Ocarina of Times, like those
Mario 64, like those
Mario
3 games, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be like the most popular game for maybe that to kind of play in, because realistically, like, we know, are you entertaining?
Yeah, that's the
great at a
biggest
game
part.
and be boring as shit. And honestly, if someone doesn't like, because one thing I'm very appreciative is the people who've given me time when they come in and somebody's hosted or rated, and that person who's hosted or rated me is not a speedrunner.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that they haven't played retro on their stream, but they probably still don't even actively, consistently play retro either. And someone's like, they'll come in, they'll be like, I'm glad I hung around. Like, I didn't think I really enjoy any speedrunning, but you changed my mind. And it was like, ding, like that right there was just like, oh, that is so cool.
That's
this
always
person's
a
never
feels-good
experienced
moment.
this. And they wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's people out there that probably think that, but they didn't decide to type it in the chat and hit enter.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychic. I'm not like Psyche K. I can't read no mind. So it's really interesting when you get those moments, because it's like, okay, cool. So all of it's starting to come together. And yeah, that's why I was curious when I wanted to ask you, people felt that, they're going on that old school mentality of thinking, if I'm number one, I'm better than you. It's like, calm down.
Yeah. And it also just like, it just depends on who you ask too.
Yeah.
Because I've always been I've never really ever really asked for help in a run. I'm always like of the idea, I'm like, I'll figure it out myself. But that's just because I've had bad experiences trying to ask people for help.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially when I first started running, and it's like ask them, well, how do you do this part? I'm like, well, I just do it. I'm like, well, that doesn't really help me.
Yeah, that doesn't help. You do it away.
you know how you do it. You're just not willing to tell me.
Now, or some people I feel aren't very good at communicating that they're not able to explain it during the run.
Yeah.
which there's some games, like for a good example for me is I can explain a lot of stuff during Mega Man 2. I just feel very comfortable and very in control of what I'm doing, of when I can look at the screen, when I can kind of deviate my, my overall focus. And where something, let's say like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, there's times where I'm talking, I'm explaining the whole thing, and then I'll just go radio silent.
Yeah.
Because I know I have to, like, I'm like, no, if I keep talking, I actually won't be able to do this next part.
Yep.
And then I try to go back into talking after that. Hopefully it wasn't too long to where my brain's like, wait, what were you talking about?
Exactly. What was going on here?
And I try to explain to people like, hey, just so you guys know, as the more and more we get back into this, that it's our ability to also chat and do the run at the same time will come together. Right now that we have too much thinking going on instead of just going through the motions, do the correct execution, boom, 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 got it. But right now we're like going through the motions, reacting and trying to preemptively set up and then react again. No, you don't want to be doing so many reactions during a speedrun if you can help it.
No, yeah. If you're reacting, you're already losing time.
You are losing time 9 times out of 10, with your exception of, RNG patterns that are always RNG based. There's no manipulation to them. It's once you see it, did you hit? Can you now adjust to it, right? And then go. Versus, let's say something that's scripted. Obviously, every time that it's scripted, the first frame you can hit it to the next available frame after the iframes. For those that don't know, iframes are invulnerability frames, or frames that you cannot hurt either yourself or said object that you're fighting. And it's just understanding those little things that start to add up on time save, right? And I think it's funny that people don't explain that. Like, that's one of the things in I try to explain to people in either Mega Man 2, because I've now learned that better, or in like Turtles 4. Because Turtles 4 I feel much more comfortable telling people about, because I've been doing my best to try to elevate Turtles as a legitimate speedrunning game title. And so obviously there's no gatekeeping on my end, and I won't stand for it in the community. I'll squash that out real quick, because that's just it's ridiculous. There's so much more that can be accomplished if everyone is pushing the game to its
pushing
limits.
It together. Yeah, exactly.
There's so much to learn. Like when Posty and I got the co-op world record back in the day, we got it on our second or third run of the game. So obviously it was not optimized.
It was not optimized.
We're not god gamers.
No, exactly. That's what I was about to say.
We're stubborn, and we want to play a game that we enjoy and try to get better at it. That's what we're good at. We're good at being the right kind of stubborn for wanting to keep on persisting. So when we pick up a game, and my methodology of applying myself into a game is, I would say I come from a very much a gamer way of doing it, not some methodical or professor-like, which I would say is much more akin to you on how you approach speedrunning.
Yeah, because I still
more
take
measured.
I take physical notes still. Like, I have to take physical notes. Like, that's just how
you
I
have
learn.
a board.
I do. I have an entire whiteboard dedicated to what I'm learning a new run.
And my favorite thing is he's like, okay, I got this down. So he erases it, right, folks? Yep. You're out there, you're listening. And then within like the time that he's done that, like within a couple of minutes, he's like, oh, got to fill it back up. Something new.
Yep. Something new. Something new's got to go on the board.
All right. That's fun. All right.
Oh, I finished this layout for somebody. All right. Well, now I got to fill it with this other thing I got to do. Here we go.
Yeah, it's so true. And for any of those types of things, it just matters to me that people have the information available. Gatekeeping to me is so nonsensical, like we've already been, discussing, that I hope more individuals realize if they run into a gatekeeping situation, if there's other games that interest you, just move on to those games.
Just move on. Yeah. It's if they want to let their game die in obscurity, like just let it die in obscurity then.
And like, oh, that brings me back. Oh, thank you for saying that. The exact word I was looking for, obscurity. So Posty and I decided to push it a little bit, and we got it down to somewhere around like, 26, 25 minutes. And that felt pretty good, right? That was a nice mission, And then we decided to start running Turtles 3 for just a little bit. Out of nowhere, another co-op team arrived. And they were there to take the title. And so it created this amazing back and forth co-op action for years, for about just shy of 2 years for Turtles co-op to get it to where it got to sub 20. And on any of the categories, easy, normal, or hard, you had to have sub 20 to even have a chance at the world record. Now, him and I are still playing it and pushing it. It's unfortunate that the main co-op group that we were battling with, which I loved it. Yes, it created pressure and it was tense and whatnot, but the best part about it was not necessarily succeeding, but when something new was found in the game that was just like, no way, this wasn't looked at before. And then you start applying that with some of your strats, and you maybe tweak a few of your strats because it lends to the other strat much more easily and then quicker. That was the most fun for me, where you're breaking the game down in such a different way because the game is different co-op and solo, where a lot of solo players had great ideas that were not applicable. It's like, oh, good idea, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that here. The screen doesn't roll fast enough for that. Because again, there's an extra sprite because it's 2-player. Like for those of you that don't know, on any of the old school console games, an additional player is an additional sprite. So most of the time, it's not that big a deal if you're playing casual. But once you're speedrunning, you're pushing the limit of how fast you're transitioning into things. The game wasn't expecting you to be trying to go as fast as physically possible that the game would allow with both players.
That's what we like to do. We like to play the game unintended.
That's exactly right. Oh, you wanted me to go through this entire maze? I found that I could jump up over the maze and be done with it.
Yeah.
What? No.
No, you go through the maze. We spent weeks on that maze.
You didn't seal off the top. I'm going up and over, baby.
You didn't seal off the top. Ain't no invisible wall here. Mm-hmm.
I'm outie. And there's the pole. Got it. It's like, oh, you dirty.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Gotcha.
God, I wish I would have brought some examples too, because there are some good examples of like world record holders who have like, held on to strats, right? Until they've gotten beaten, and then are like, oh, did you know that you could do this? And then they'll do it. And I'm like, that's also just like another dick move. But I wish I had some examples.
Well, some of those examples to me, I could think of is when you are first figuring out something, because like if you don't know it's faster, you don't share it at first for 2 reasons. Maybe you're trying to make sure that you first have it mastered, right? And then secondly, if it's not faster and you start telling everyone it's faster.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, whoops, sorry.
Did you
I didn't time it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Oh,
it looked faster.
Yeah.
It looked cool, but it's not faster.
Darn. Close.
Now, with that, I have no problem here transitioning us. That
one of my
our next topic
things
is going to be music that motivates you. All right, I'm going to stick with speedrunning here for just a moment, because my speedruns, I have to enjoy the music I'm listening to if I'm going to keep on running the game.
That's the number one.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
that's the number one thing I tell people if they're like, "Oh, I'm looking at trying to do speedrunning." I'm like, A, you've got to like the game, but B, you've really got to like the music, because you're going to be hearing a lot of that game.
And I mean, especially if you're speedrunning, the number one thing you have to realize is you're going to do it at least 100 times.
Yeah.
Right. I mean. And then after that, you'll know. Were you speedrunning this game just to get a little bit better and get a time to be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Then after the 100th, you're like, actually, I think I want to keep pressing this. And you'll know. No one has to tell you that. You'll know when you want to, grind a game versus like, that was fun. Like for me, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers solo, I did that as a fun speedrun, not one I wanted to grind. So I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, I had my ups, I had my downs with it, but it was fun. And I left it at that. Versus, other games where I'm like, no, man, here we go.
Yeah, we're grinding this down to the nail end. We're going.
We're going all out.
Yeah, but that's why I run that's why I wanted to run Banjo, for example, because the music in that is so good. Yes. It's so diverse. Grant Kirkhope is a genius.
Woohoo! Shout outs
to Grant Kirkhope. Sponsor us. Love you, baby.
Yeah. That's a good point. You see, and now why that even matters more is how fast is that speedrun for Banjo and Kazooie?
Well, for 100%, it's like just under 2 hours at a super top level, but like 2.5 hours still. Like that's still like long
2.5 hours of music you have to listen to, probably for the 20th, the 40th, the 60th, the 100th time. You know what I mean? Like you got to enjoy it. That's a long time to, force yourself to deal with it.
Yeah.
If you didn't enjoy the track or tracks.
Exactly.
Gosh, that make you go. Like for me, when I'm on a good pace in Mega Man 2 and we hit Wily 1, my heart and my it's pumping, baby. The blood, the adrenaline. I'm just like, just gotta. I'm like, but no, rein back in. You're about to overjump this.
Yeah.
keep it cool. Keep it cool. Come on, baby. But yeah, that jam has just got me. Oh, I just want to shake it out. It feels so good.
It's such a good transition into the Wily stages.
It really does set the tone. And again, for me, that makes such a difference because the Wily stages are harder to have. Like their swings are much greater when you screw up.
Yeah.
There's more nuance in a level by level for the Robot Masters, but when it comes to the swings in time, one mistake on a Wily level is usually, now at the level I'm at, is a run killer.
Yeah,
it's like, that was 8-10 seconds. I had a second to work with. I didn't have that 8 to 10. Okay, darn. Finish off the run and start a new one. But another game that I really enjoy the music for, even though I'm not speedrunning it anymore, was Earthbound.
Earthbound has great jams. Terrible game, but great jams. You are correct.
Terrible game to speedrun.
Yeah, I should clarify. Yeah.
No, I love that game. As a kid, I didn't, because it was so far from the RPG-esque way I pictured RPGs.
It was, yeah. It was so different, and they did that on purpose.
Yes, and they did it on purpose, and as a kid, and it made sense why it didn't do so well in the US when it released as such, because it was too different. But
it was.
When I look back at it now, and I've played it, and I've speedrun, I love the game. It's just so funny how time can change that, perspective on the same type of, You got it. You know, so it's embedded, man.
It is. It really is.
You gotta stop hanging out with Gigas when you go to sleep.
Goodness gracious.
It's just not cool. That or what's his name? Pokey.
Hell no.
Freaking Pokey, dude.
Wake up with a fat blonde kid next to me? No.
And he's just telling you that, that why aren't you guys best friends?
Why aren't we best friends? Do this.
First off,
you
snuck into my bed when I was sleeping. What the fuck?
This is too much.
Stop it. Be nice. Okay, but music that motivates, I want to extrapolate past that, and not just in speedrunning, but a lot of things. And I know for myself personally, I find a lot of really good energy that I can apply in numerous facets throughout my day. And I've actually been, quote unquote, tunnel visioning myself a little bit with my music, and not my tastes. I've actually been checking out more and more bands and artists, but more so that I've been using it to not allow myself to get distracted by other things. I've been allowing it to kind of bring in all this, because I have so many wants, so many ideas. I mean, look, Flip, you and I don't have time, and now we've started a podcast up over again.
Yes.
Somehow, some way, we're like, all right, we're gonna still make this work, even though we both barely have enough time to breathe. Okay.
Yeah. Just enough. We have to schedule breathing.
Yeah. We have to schedule breathing. We have to schedule, hey man, can we talk? Just like as friends? Yeah. We can talk as friends right now. Okay. And it's like, I've been using things like the music, and then again, not to shut up my family. I love talking with my family, but knowing when do I need to stay focused. Like, I can't afford a 30-minute tangent with my father right now, because literally I don't have 30 minutes if I want to be on time for everything.
Yeah.
You know, if I had the time, hey Pops, what's going on? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know? And so he'll come out and he'll see me with the earbuds in the kitchen making food, and I'm just jamming. He'll start just, you know, jamming his shoulders and stuff too. And I know he's making fun of me. I know. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Come on,
feels good.
Pop. Let's go, Pop. Let's do it. Whatever. He can't hear what lyrics are in my ears, but I just start saying the lyrics, and he just starts laughing at me. It's like, crazy kid. Don't know how you made it this far, but good.
I don't know how you made it this far, but glad you did.
And like, I also have found, and this is one thing I want to bring up, quote unquote, educationally for those, that I use music, especially when I'm working out, to continue to motivate and push me past whatever limitations I'm facing at that time. If that's maybe, you know, a certain amount of reps, or maybe a certain intensity, which means, you know, a less of a breather break in between certain things that we're going, you know, exercise, or even adding weight. Right now, because I'm working out at home, adding weight's not really part of the equation. Point.
Another milk jug on top of there.
Yeah. Come in. Oh, dang it. Now I got no milk jugs. And one thing to pay attention to is how much of an emotional response you're going to get by listening to music.
Yeah.
The music hits another part of your brain that, again, and it's almost drug like, right, where it releases these good feelings, and that's good, right? But it's also demanding. Your body is doing something, right? It's listening to something, it's responding to it, and then it's having its own reaction to it. Thus, let's say when you're working out, it motivated you to push the hardest you've ever pushed. Now you're done working out, but the rest of your day is completely shot. And you're trying to figure out why, though. You had the proper sleep. You properly filled up before the workout. You properly filled up after the workout. You know, you did whatever you need to do. If that was the sauna, if that was you bathe.
Yeah.
You know, all these different kinds of things where it's like, I should be feeling pretty good. You didn't take into effect the emotional toll the music had on you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the matter of understanding that variance so that you can balance your overall, like, why am I so, oh, nope, I know why. And that makes a big difference for a lot of people, is understanding why are they feeling an additional drain when it's like, I did push myself on the workout, but I shouldn't be this tired still. I should only be physically tired, not mentally and emotionally tired.
Instead, their dopamine receptors in their brains are like, we're out. That's it. That's all
yeah, no, you maxed it, and they loved it. They loved it.
It was great, but there's no more. It was just no more.
This is now the morning after the party.
Yeah.
And everyone's trying to figure out why they fall asleep in the corner upside down. And it's like, oh, wait, what? Why are there bottles on me?
There's bottles everywhere.
Oh my God!
Put a trash can over here so everybody would put their bottles in here, but nobody put the bottles in here.
Look at, there's nothing in the trash can besides my blankets and the pillow. Come on, guys! What the hell?
So confused.
Oh man, it's not nice. And like that, I've also been starting to apply. Now, granted, we know DMCA, not applying it to stream, but I've been listening a little bit of music before I go live. In my own ears, that's not the stream music, only because there's music I've been listening to lately that's been giving me a different, like, yeah, let's go, versus my stream music is going to be very adherent to the theme of the day, right?
Yeah,
and it's going to follow the guidelines for what's okay to be played and everything.
That good old DMCA now,
which I mean, again,
which we've always had.
But it's always had. It's good that it's there. Again, though, I have a big issue, which we can discuss another day and time. I have a big issue with how big companies apply their DMCA, because they're not necessarily applying it to protect the artist. They're applying it to fill their pockets. And again, that's a whole nother issue that we can
tune in next week.
Tune in next week for DMCA. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. And where, you know, that I've been using music to get me in a good mindset. So then guess what? When I start off the stream, those people who are right there, they get my boom, that good energy, that flow, like, let's do this. Have you ever gone to watch someone on a stream and they go live and you're like, wow, you actually just stole my energy right now. Like, yeah. I don't like, it's like you were so like non yourself, so non, even if for someone who's not a hype or energy streamer, you can still tell when their energy is low.
Yeah.
If you really watch them for their social cues, how they interact with chat, how do they like to do their starting up, how they transition into the games, you can feel what is their good energy, what's their bad energy, or when they are really low. And it's like, oh, I came here for some fun, but now I feel sad.
That's me whenever I don't have a cup of coffee before I start stream.
See, but you identified that, right? You were like, no, wait, hold on. I am not going to not be my best self when I start the stream. I'm going to start, because you actually, for a little while there, you and I were pretty much back to back.
Yeah.
If our viewers that happen to watch both of us, be it for speedrunning, be it because we're both just ridiculous entertainers, is that we used to literally be back to back. So people could watch about 10 to 14 hours worth of content that was very similar-esque.
Yeah.
Then you realize, though, you were having a disconnect in that first hour of your stream.
Oh, very much.
Sometimes it was like, okay, cool. Other times your energy was like, and so you decide to start an hour later. Why? So you can enjoy that first cup of coffee.
Yep, that's the big one.
You know, and that motivated you, just like the music was motivating me right now to be a better version of myself. You're like, hold on. And then you still might have a second cup of coffee, which looks like your first on stream, but it's your second one. And now it's okay if you're not getting to it as fast because you already had the first one that you're able to enjoy.
Exactly, yeah.
Chill to.
It's nice and hot.
And I can't think of the last time I went into the start of one of your streams where it didn't feel like FlibbityFlam to start. It's been a long time. Again, I know your schedule is switched every now and then with the last month doing all the Dark Souls kind of stuff. But when you're on your normal schedule, I would say that's how I felt like whenever I'd see you pop on, you know, you're getting good. You're like, guys, get my second cup of coffee. And it just felt right. It felt good energy.
It was nice. So then that's also what I like to do with music at the start of my stream too. Bringing it back to the subject.
Yeah.
Since mostly I play Kumo, who is DMC safe, thankfully. But I would always start up there, and I always look for like what's the song, like what's the one that's gonna get me pumped when I'm out there, my headphones, getting my cup of coffee while everybody is rolling in. And I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. See, like it's more than just pure escapism when you are putting those headphones on and rocking out. If you are paying attention to the signs, right? Yeah. So you realized for you want to get yourself into a good headspace. Like you used to do 12-hour days, 5 to sometimes 6 days a week, right?
Thank God those are over.
Now you probably didn't have the same way of approaching your you know, get ready for stream approach than you do nowadays. Is that fair to say?
No, absolutely.
And I'm assuming you probably like how you go about things nowadays than back then.
Oh, so much so.
I mean, mine's the 12 hours. Obviously, 12 hours is for one time, that's fine. But over and over and over again, that's really hard to do.
It's extremely just draining.
It is.
It was nice for that fact because it gives you a lot of time to work with a bunch of different things.
True. Lots of trial and error can be done in that time. True.
But at the same time, if you want to be successful, like nobody's really going to be there for 12 hours.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's really important to pay attention to those things in the stats. Is how long does your average viewer stay around for?
Yeah.
Right. So why would you, a human being who is working their heart out on their passion project, which is like for us, it would be streaming and creating content of this nature, and not enjoy your time doing it. Why would you want to be so burnt out and exhausted all the time and no rewards just because more sounds greater? Only if more is greater.
Yeah.
Only if more is greater, not if it sounds greater. Come on now.
Exactly. More isn't always greater sometimes. Sometimes less is more.
Thank you. You just got to constantly pay attention to the details. Me getting lost into music has allowed me to, do that. Instead of it being a distraction, for me, it's been a motivator, a part that's helped me focus even more. And with that, it makes it a lot easier to make good decisions, such as, maintaining a non-gatekeeped Turtles community amongst other games I play, but I wouldn't say I'm any speaking force within those other games necessarily. Maybe co-op Chip and Dale nowadays, where all these different factors, all these different motivations, you gotta remember at the end of the day, who are you doing it for?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm doing it for me.
Exactly.
And by me being my best me, that allows others to actually get what they want out of me. That's a hard thing to get across to a lot of people, be it if you're trying to gatekeep a game, if you're trying to find something that motivates you, is that you literally need to understand the difference of wanting something for yourself versus wanting something for yourself and you're going to take it from somebody else.
Yeah.
A lot of people think wanting something for yourself means that you are intrinsically selfish and you are a bad person. No. Want something for yourself, but you're willing to take it from others to obtain it. That's the distinction that needs to be made.
Exactly. Because being selfish for yourself and what you want, like, to be a better person, like, to be healthy, to be in a good exercise routine, a good sleep schedule. Those are things you should want to be selfish in it.
Please. Right? Like, I don't understand why those would be bad things if that allows you, again, because let's say you were someone that realized that, like, for me, if I have too little of sleep, I am not going to want to be around and hang out with people. Well, guess what? What is my job mostly doing is being around and hanging out with people. Ooh, that's probably not a good idea for me to be low on sleep. Selfish, sleep a little bit longer. That way I am better for everyone else that I am a part of.
100%.
Gosh, and I'm glad everyone out there is listening to us, because you know what, folks, we appreciate that our ramblings aren't lost in the ether that is the net.
The void, the shadow realm, if you will.
Yes, the shadow realm tries to steal our musical notes. Those bastards.
It does. We can't duel without music.
That's exactly. Oh man, thank you for ranting with me again today, FlibbityFlam.
Always, General. Always a pleasure.
My goodness, where can we find you, FlibbityFlam?
Oh, as always, twitch.tv/FlibbityFlam. I have a Twitter, which we'll link somewhere down there as well.
Perfect.
Down there, up there. I don't know how Spotify's laid out yet. I'm
pretty sure you're right. There's some tab that you should be clicking on.
Some tab that we can put our socials in. General, where can we find you?
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna have a list here, folks. It'll be a lot easier for you, obviously, to look at the list than just to listen. But I'll say it for those that like that sound effects that go along with it. So obviously, you can find me at twitch.tv/GeneralAndrews /YouTube.com. My gosh, words, stuff, things. /GeneralAndrews. You can find me on
com.youtube.
You know, you can find me on TikTok in the coming weeks or whatever. We're doing some stuff out there, folks, and the Dreamers I know are amazing. The Flam family, they're spectacular. Flib, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, have a good night.